Hey y'all, welcome to Nurse Strong. Welcome to another season.
Yes.
Took a little break, but we're back.
Yes, I missed us.
I know. We didn't even see each other like while we were
I
on
know.
break. That's
We
the crazy
took
part.
we took a full break. Like a full break. And I just want to thank everybody who still listened and tuned in.
Yeah.
We are both moms.
Right.
And working moms, and like we always preach self-care.
Right.
So we were kind of overwhelmed and
just
just
balance it out.
Yes,
I had to take a break.
For anybody that follows us on Instagram, we got locked out of our Instagram.
But that's okay.
Made us sad. So our old handle at Live Nurse Strong is currently, hopefully we can get it back, but we have a new one. So it's at Live Nurse Strong LLC. If you will go follow us on that handle, we would love to, get back in communication with you all. But nevertheless, we got it back up and going, and we are ready to just come back and connect with you all, and talk about our favorite subject again. Money. So budgeting, we thought we would talk a little bit about budgeting, especially for new grads. I mean, sometimes when you get your first nursing job, that's probably the most money that you've made.
It's like I didn't hit the lotto, even though it may not be. But if you didn't went from, cause it's hard to work while you're in nursing school, like a good full-time job where you're gonna get money.
Or especially if you went from high school to nursing school. I know a lot of people are, non-traditional. I didn't. You went straight through the nursing school. I, went back after having whole bunch of life experiences.
Right, because it's different. Like, it's not the same as when you're staying in the dorms or staying at your parents' house. Or, you can walk across the street to the cafeteria and get food. Like, it's different.
So, either way, whether you're a new nurse, whether you are a seasoned nurse, whether you are not a nurse, whether you are just an adult, you should have some type of plan or budget for your money.
True.
Because you gotta handle your money. You can't let the money handle you.
This is so true. But, as nurses, we're good about managing our time and juggling time so we can apply that same mindset to money.
Yeah. And I see a lot of little memes and jokes that say, how nurses, like, for instance, it might say a new pair of shoes, 1 shift, vacation, 2 extra shifts, something like that. And, we are able to work more and be flexible. But I'm not a big advocate of all of that overtime. Like, some people are, but
I would say some people do that, though.
Yeah, and I'm not knocking it. I have definitely worked my share of overtime. I have definitely worked my share of multiple jobs. So don't think that I am judging that, but I'm just kind of at a point where I feel like I want to be smarter with my money.
Right.
And I want to have more time. Like, time has become more important to me than money. And I've learned that if I manage my money better, then that leads me to have more time to do things that I want to do with the people that I want to do it with.
And you also got to prepare for the future too. Like, I know that's not the first thing that you think of, like, oh, let me plan for retirement when you graduate, but you should.
Yep. And that's the first thing that I would suggest to any new grad. Invest in your 401k or 403b. Some places have a 403b or 401k.
Right.
There are different budgeting platforms. People have different advice. Some people feel like you should make sure you pay off all your debt before you start investing. But whatever you decide to do. But I definitely think when I was young, though when I was young, I wasn't a nurse, I was still working. I've been working since I was 16. So, I didn't really fully understand the value of investing in my 401k. Like, I did it because it was offered.
Right.
So I did it. But if I switched jobs and they offered to send me a check, or, I just took the money.
I'll take it.
Yeah, like, I didn't
didn't understand and think it through. Like,
right. So now I am older and I understand, but I think about, wow, what if I would have started investing, 10 years earlier or 15 years earlier for my future, how much. But it's all good. We're going to catch up.
It's not too late.
But that would be my first tip, is to invest in a retirement plan. Yep.
I agree. What do you think about how some, or even new grads, jump out and get, the big brand new car?
Ooh, that would be, that girl, you're like all into my list. I was gonna say avoid debt at all costs. It's in not all debt, and I'm not a budget guru. I still, matter of fact, researching for this episode made me realize ways I want to tweak my budget and things I want to do. But man, live in your means. Avoid high interest loans. So whether that is, and from my understanding, anything greater than, I think, 5% interest rate is considered a high interest loan. So credit cards.
Right. But then they always target the college student or the undergrad, like, oh, build your credit. Yeah.
Please avoid those, because it's like a trap. Oh my gosh. Like, it's
like quicksand.
Yeah, it really is. And it's like the only way, once you start racking up debt, the only way to really get it down in a good amount of time is to just pour money. And then you think about it, what you could be doing with that money.
Right.
If you weren't paying back debt.
Like, you're paying off all that interest.
Interest is like the biggest legal robbery.
It's actually good.
Yes. Right. Oh my gosh. Like, I want to loan somebody some money to make some interest. And actually, you can do that. There are websites where you can give person to person loans and you charge interest. Yes, there are. I might look into that.
That's crazy.
Yes, you can do small loans and charge interest, and that's how you make your money.
Oh wow.
That's so crazy. I don't know. I know when I've seen people be a nurse, you want to be a nurse, you want to stunt, you want to live the life, look the part, but it's not worth it to be just burning yourself out to keep up an appearance. Right. So
true.
Yeah. Avoid that high interest debt, please. It is hard paying that stuff off. Like, seems like, I think student loans have a lower interest rate. Homes, you can get a lower, but stuff like credit cards and expensive cars.
Speaking of student loans, you can even look into like where you get your job at. Yeah. Because some employers will pay off your student loans if you got them.
Yep. So consider all that when you are looking for your first job. Just what is the best thing financially? Is this gonna pay me enough? Is this gonna allow me to live? The hours are going to allow me to balance home and life.
That's true.
Are there any incentives? Are they going to pay for me to go to school? I went back to school and my job gave me, they didn't pay 100%, but they gave me a good portion to go back to school. So those are things to look at. So what type of, do you budget?
I need to. I mean, even when we talked about this last time, I was like, I need to. It sounded good at the moment. But then actually committing to it. And then I did for a minute. And then I did look at some stuff. I wasn't like the Starbucks drinker. But I did like to go there and get my green tea and honey and stuff. Or, I was going to Bojangles and get my biscuit every morning.
You really go to Starbucks and get green tea. I didn't even know you was that bougie. You can't just buy the tea.
It's different. This is the real tea.
I didn't even know this about you. I got
tea. Where we at the Hills Park? Oh, I got a whole cart going down there because I went down there so much. I get them free now.
That is a shame. So that's funny because that is what I spend all my extra money on. I'm playing, but I spend all my money on food. And I'm like, and the thing is, I cook. I have started cooking a lot more. But on the weekends when I'm out and about, whenever I do spend my extra money, it's not on clothes and shoes like I want it to be on. It's on food. Food. And so what I used to do, I don't do this anymore. But when I first got out of college, I was just living paycheck to paycheck. I didn't have any responsibilities besides myself.
Right.
And so I started just writing down everything I spent. I mean, I got receipts for everything.
Right.
And I wrote down everything I spent. And that was a little just real strict and a little extreme.
Right.
But it made me see where my money was going.
Right.
And it's kind of like when you're trying to lose weight and you write down and track your food. You don't want to write down dumb stuff. So like I used to stop at the gas station. I'm driving to the mall. Oh, I want to stop and get a Coke. So you want to write down that you stopped at racetrack to get a Coke when you on your way to the mall.
Right.
So
accountability.
Yes. So
but that's good that they write down a list of what you're doing, and then I think you said like prioritize it.
Yeah.
So that way, and then see what you can scratch off, or at the end of the month, see where all your money is going to.
Yeah. And what I started doing, I might have mentioned this before, is separate accounts.
Yeah. I
just,
actually did start doing that.
Yes. But what I feel like I might need to tweak, because I might try this. I don't know how good this is gonna work, but I might try it and I'll let y'all know how it went. So I have separate accounts. I have a spending account where I just spend miscellaneous, and then of course my bills and my savings, whatever. But it's electronic. So if I start spending too much money, I just like transfer a little bit over.
I made mine to where I couldn't do that. Like I had to actually go there to move it over.
So that's what I was doing. And so 2 things I learned from that, which is, one, I may try the envelope method kind of. So, they said when you have certain things you have a budget for, whether it's groceries, shopping, whatever,
right.
You put an envelope and you take the cash and you put it in an envelope. And once there is no more money in that envelope, there is no more money in that envelope. So I may try a version of that. Maybe I will start dealing with cash, because that's why I think of money as video game points, because I never have cash. So everything is just me swiping my card.
So it's kind of funny that you said that, because I kind of did what you said. Like I take out like a certain percentage, like, okay, this is my play money for until the next pay period. But then once it's gone, then it's gone.
Yeah, I transfer. I only transfer. Okay, I'm not that bad. So I only transfer if it's something I really want to do. So let's say, like how we said, okay, maybe this weekend we'll hang out. Now, I still have some play money, so I'm good to go. But let's say my play money was low. I wouldn't say, nah, Nikki, I can't go out.
I would
just slide a little bit for this one weekend, which is not cool. I shouldn't do that. But then I'm like, oh, gosh, I'm denying myself. I don't want to deny myself. So I am going to, so that leads me to the second thing that I think I learned about budgeting, is to, every month is different.
Right.
So I was sticking to a strict budget, like this amount goes in the bill, this amount goes in the play money, this amount, whatever.
For every month?
Every month was the same.
Okay.
And so now I'm thinking, like, for instance, I'm going out of town this month. I'm going out of town in July.
You didn't budget for that.
I didn't budget for it to go out of town.
Right.
So I'm taking money from one pot to go out of town for the extra expenses. So maybe I should have been budgeting before the month, first of all. So maybe this month is not that good, but next month I should have been budgeting as early as possible.
Right.
So for instance, I know for Christmas, we're going out of town for Christmas. So it's June, and let's say I have in my head I want to have $1,000 or $500, whatever, in December for the resort, the ticket to go shopping because it's Christmas, whatever. Let's just say $1,000. So that means from June to December, if I break down $1,000, is what, about $140. Yeah. I need to make sure I have budgeted to set aside that much money, so that when December comes, I'm not just using money that I don't have or taking from something else. So that's something that I didn't do. I never budgeted ahead. Like my birthday's in January. I know that I'm gonna turn up. I love having ratchet birthdays. And then COVID killed my birthday this past year. But I know that I'm gonna want to hang out or go somewhere or whatever. I need to budget for that. So those are two things I was like, okay, I see that I'm not just being that bad. I know that it's summertime. I know, your kids gone.
Mm-hmm.
We gonna hang out more. Yes. I may need to cut back on one thing to allow myself to have a little extra spending money for these months.
Right.
So
that's true.
Yeah.
Well, I did see they said, it's kind of like what you said. They were like, budget based off of like whatever your goal is.
Yeah.
Or like for a vacation or a car or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that'll motivate people more, like if they have doing it for a specific purpose.
Right. Set a goal and know your why. Like, and be real with what your why is. Like, I'm real that I want to go on trips.
Right.
I want to shop. Like, I
the world's
love
opening back up.
Yes, like I love to shop. I just got into wigs. I want some wigs. Like, that's what that's what I want.
What
yes.
Yeah.
I start out, that's what I want my money on.
Right.
So be real. I like that you said that. Be real with your goal and your why, and then on a more I don't know if it's not really spiritual, but like when you let it go, we talked about this.
Yes, we said never just like the open hands.
Let it go. Hands. It brings it back. And I just thought about, I think we talked about this before when I'm trying to pay off this lump sum of money, and I have money in my savings to pay off a good portion of it. Not the whole thing, but a good portion.
Right.
And I just don't want to let it go out of my savings. But I today closed my eyes and I transferred the money because I realized if I let that money go, it allows me to have like all these payments that I'm making every month, this interest that I'm paying. If I just let go of the money that I have right now, it'll allow me to have more money once I pay off that debt. So I just been trying to remind myself that, you have to let go in order to attract. And have grace with yourself. Like, it's not going to always be perfect.
No. It's not going to be easy.
It's money. Just have the mindset. It's money. It'll come back.
Sure.
You healthy. So that means you have the ability. You healthy. You have a career. You have the ability to make money. You let it go so it can flow.
Yes.
And just, make a plan and stick with it. And adjust it.
Right, so I was going to say, but it need to be revised and adjust accordingly.
Yep. So hopefully we see all of our nurses out here just thriving and not just bogged down with work to pay off all of these. I see so many nurses with, they got all the red bottoms, the purses, the hair, the nails, and they at work all
That's
the
what
time.
I was going to say, but they at work, but they can't enjoy it.
Yes.
Yeah.
They driving a nice car, but they at work.
They driving to work all the time, picking up shifts everywhere.
Yes. So it's nothing wrong with picking up shifts, but let's, we can be a little smarter with our money. Let's do that, nurses.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you so much for listening. We are so excited to be back. Follow us on Instagram at Live Nurse Strong LLC. Our website, www.livenursestrong.com. We have our t-shirts on sale, Twitter, and also Facebook. Thank you.